Welcome once again to another episode of Pints and Paints. I am your channel host Jason with the OHA, and as always, can't have P&P without a pint. So today's pint of choice is going to be a Budweiser. It's smooth, it's cold, it's delicious. Oh, it's so good when it hits your lips. If you don't have a drink, a tea, a coffee, a water, a beer, preferably, or any type of hard liquor is also acceptable. I'll wait. Go get one. I'll just wait. Just wait here. Or you could pause the video. That'd probably work better. Pause the video, and I'll just get on with what I'm here to do. P&P is a little light this week, mostly because I haven't really had a whole lot of time to compile sort of my thoughts on what I wanted to talk about this week. It has been extremely busy with terrain work in the Forge for our event coming up at Hotlead, the War of the Ring. If you have not signed up to join us for that weekend of SBG goodness, then head on over to the Facebook group and be sure to attend. I mean, it's going to be a great weekend. It's a full weekend of SBG goodness, 4 rounds for War of the Ring, Friday night, and then into Saturday, obviously. 750 points, absolutely no restrictions. Lists have to be submitted by February 23rd. Unfortunately, due to table allocation and the fact that we have a generous host in Hotlead that can utilize space if we're not going to use it, we have to know by February 23rd. So if you are going to attend, we need to know about it. We need to know about it ahead of time, and you can get that submitted over to us by February 23rd. After February 23rd, unfortunately, there will be no late admittance allowed. That's just a reality of the beast, unfortunately. So if you're interested in attending, if you want to get down for the weekend, you know, whether it's Friday and Saturday or whether it's just coming down Saturday, get a hold of us. Let us know now. We will try to work something out with you and make sure that you get in on the fun. So that is list by February 23rd. Hotlead is March 16th, 17th, and 18th in Stratford, Ontario. Absolutely smashing venue. Full service bar for the entire day, weekend. And likely some after-game drinks hosted by the OHA, I would assume, as is generally normal for us. So, looking forward to the weekend. But that being said, it has been extremely busy. I have been putting some planning into the Moria board, working on some prototypes, trying to figure out, you know, what aspects I want to do. You know, there's so much to explore in that realm, and I think things that I could do that maybe have not been explored via the standard terrain for, you know, what you traditionally think of in Moria. So, you know, obviously you've got the typical caverns and Balin's tomb and all that fun stuff. And depending on the time restrictions and how fast I can get my green stuff done, and when I say green stuff, I mean bushes and trees and stuff like that to supplement what we already have. It's been a lot of work. So depending on the time, I know I can whip out some columns pretty quick and get some pretty effective scatter terrain. I will likely be keeping this modular in the sense that, you know, it's all going to be on a mat, and I would really like all of the terrain for that table to simply just go into a tote, as logistics at the OHA is quickly becoming a massive investment and concern. So for those of you who, you know, follow the channel and follow the Facebook group and stuff, you see what goes on. The stuff that OHA George builds is absolutely stunning, but it is not designed to globetrot, I guess is the best way to put it. So when it comes time to pick up and move stuff and you know, get things to events like this, it becomes challenging, and especially on the scale. Now obviously depending on, you know, where the event goes, we could have anywhere from, you know, I'm just saying 10 tables up to 16 tables, depending on the number of attendees and people that sign up. So you can imagine the logistics of having 16 tables, you know, done to the standard that George does them. You know, they're not all going to be George's. I'm going to be contributing, and most of my stuff is very much, you know, scatter terrain and a little more modular in construction. But, you know, obviously for those of you who remember Rivendell, Osgiliath, there's some pretty marquee boards that are definitely going to be making the trip to Hotlead. And, you know, God bless George for going to the work and the extent to make sure that we have those stunning tables on site. So bear that in mind when you sign up or when you come in. You know, the terrain is all provided by the OHA, and it's awesome stuff. So much fun to play on. I can't wait to share and you know, see an event full again, as it only being our second event. You know, I'm kind of excited to see hopefully some new faces, as well as some returning friends that we've met at previous events. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So go check it out at the Facebook group. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to flog it anymore. The one thing you will see going forward will be a number of announcements relating to when the lists are due. So I really want to make sure that I hammer home February 23rd is the deadline. That's it. That's all. You know, there's no go backsies. That's, if you don't get it in by then, you're dicked. That's all. So, hobby-wise, obviously tied up with a lot of terrain building and life here in Canada. We've decided that we didn't want to stop winter, so we got more winter. Down where I am, at least, in the banana belt that is southwestern Ontario. We had a little bit of a break almost. Fairly decent weather, warmed right up, all the snow was gone. That has abruptly changed, and we are now inundated with snow, with more to come tomorrow. So all I can hope for is that by the time it comes to come to work, go to work. By the time I got to go to work on Monday, maybe I'll be snowed in, which would be very helpful to the terrain cause that is occurring in the OHA Forge. That is actually part and parcel to why I didn't film last week, was I had so much mess everywhere that I was just so frustrated at myself for how messy it was that I had absolutely no desire to film. And I'm sure some of you guys can attest to that. Maybe not necessarily with filming, could even just be hobbying. You know, we all tend to have everybody has sort of their own way that they work. Me, when I'm painting, I'm very neat and meticulous and put everything away and, you know, try to keep everything as neat as possible. When I am building terrain, it is just an absolute shit show. It is, it's a gong show. There's stuff everywhere. There's paint where I had no idea that I could get paint. You know, pieces of foam that turn up randomly. Pieces of terrain, in fact. Like, I was stunned. One of the pieces that I showed on the Facebook page was actually a piece that was assembled, I'm going to say almost a year ago, and I just forgot about. So, you know, that's sort of the way it goes. You get busy, you start, you know, cramming things into corners, and next thing you know, you got to get ready for an event or a tournament, and you find stuff that's already pre-built. So it kind of works out, actually, to be honest. But yeah, so it's been fun. Been doing a lot of work on trees, bushes, utilizing, you know, the OHA method that we have up on the YouTube channel with just the cheap dollar store stuff. Works great. Being in rural Ontario, it is very difficult for me to just, you know, slide over to a hobby shop and buy pre-assembled trees or foliage, for that matter, flock. It's very difficult. I have one supplier in Chatham. He's about a half-hour drive from me. Very nice guy. Will bring in anything I need, but you know, some of the more obscure stuff doesn't stock, so getting things is always difficult. So it's forced me to become a little more resourceful in what I use and how I use it. You know, I'm also pretty cheap when it comes to, you know, using flock. Like, I'll make sure that I get, you know, the best bang for my buck, make sure everything's cleaned up nice, and I can reuse, you know, any of the scraps or waste, you know, because that process can be very wasteful if you don't do it properly. So make sure you're using the bucket that I show in the video, and the proper adhesive, and it works great, absolutely great. As far as anything else goes, I did touch up some of the other pieces, some of the older rock outcroppings and cliffs that I had built for the previous events. So they're all touched up. I've got to whip up a few more battle mats, one for Moria, and I think 2 grass mats. So I'm going to be working on that pretty quick, because time is running out. Time is running out. Hotlead is going to be here before we know it. There was actually some announcements relating to Hotlead. Hotlead seems to have really broadened its horizons, I'm going to say, this year, which is absolutely fantastic. They've opened it up for, there will be miniature-related Dungeons and Dragons, as well as us being a large part. You know, for those of you who don't know, it's very out of character for Hotlead to allow, particularly a Games Workshop game, have that much space and run, you know, essentially an organized tournament / event under the auspices of Hotlead. So, you know, we definitely want to make sure we do it right, and that you know, we can attract as much attention as possible, and really make sure that everything is sort of top caliber, I guess would be the best way to put it. Just because, you know, James and the guys at Hotlead have gone out on a limb for us and allowed us that kind of space. So we're really hoping that we can get the community to rally behind us and, you know, make this event an awesome event. You know, obviously I would absolutely love to see 32 players. That would be fantastic. That's, you know, that's sort of our limit at this point, 32 people. It would be terrific if nobody from the OHA could play because there was no room. I would be absolutely thrilled at that. And that being said, you know, we're really hopeful that, given the atmosphere and the experience of Hotlead, that any of the gamers who are signing up are open to having, you know, convention goers stopping in, talking, maybe jumping in, throwing some dice, helping them out, showing them a turn or two of the game. You know, we're not looking for it to be an organized, they come and actually play the game for 3 hours, but you know, to be open to essentially recruiting for SBG. And I mean, I think that that's really important, especially with the influx of attention that SBG's been getting lately. You know, the new branding that's going to be coming out, the new rules, Battle Companies is obviously had been a stunning success. The amount of talk and jabber about that is terrific. So it's all great momentum that we can help build on by being, you know, open and receptive to people coming by the game to see what's up. And I think that's why, I know, at least for myself, and I know I can say this for George, that's why we push sort of the boundaries of the terrain as far as we do. Not only because we like to play on nice tables, but, you know, we really want to sell the game. And I think that this is a game where it's so dear to so many people's hearts, you know, and memories and childhoods, and I mean, whatever you want to say, whether you're an adult who read the books growing up and then saw the movie, or if you're a kid that saw the movie, you're going to be able to identify with what you're looking at War of the Ring, and that's our goal. That's why we wanted, you know, a larger point force, and make sure that the tables are stunning. Like, we're really looking forward to, and no restrictions. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt myself. Is that how that works? Anyways, no restrictions, because we wanted to see, you know, we wanted to see the Smaugs, we wanted to see the Tom Bombadils and Goldberries, and if it's in the game, we wanted to see it because we think that it helps sells not only the gameplay side of it, but essentially the recreating of the world. That's what we're going for, you know. So that's sort of in a nutshell why we're doing what we're doing and why we push the way we do. You know, it's all about this terrific game in the community and growing it. You know, I'm always impressed with the caliber of individuals that we deal with on a daily basis within this community. and that's something that I know I myself want to help grow, and have a very robust gaming community in not just Southern Ontario, but Ontario in general, as well as our cousins in the, well, for me it's north, but for most of you it's going to be south, but that's our American friends. If we can help grow that game and bring groups together like that, we've floated around the idea of a battle at the border, trying to line up some Michigan players. I know there's some players in New York, and then of course our brothers down at the DC Hotlead. So that's definitely something that I know I would love to see get something that a location that's sort of partway for both groups, and meet and have a battle royale. Canada versus USA, I think would be really sweet. But anyways, I'm gonna end it because I'm just rambling now, which is fine. So to recap, 750 points, list by February 23rd. Get it in. If you're on the fence about coming to Hotlead and War of the Ring, don't be. Just come, because it's going to be awesome. And there'll be beer. There'll be beer. I promise. I promise you. There will not be an event that Jason goes to where there's no beer. Even if it's root beer troke, there'll be beer. I promise you that. Have a good day, guys. Happy hobbying. We'll catch up soon.